Listen, we wrote all these letters, we have a good idea, but we got nothing. Well, like, what's the problem? I mean, should I just throw in the bag? There's a lot of resistance. Should I just throw in the bag? And Dr. Cross looked at me and he said, listen, you know, if you believe in this thing, and you should, like, again, for whatever reasons, the world has brought you in contact with a few extraordinary people in this particular place. You have a network now that others don't. You have an idea with participatory development that is not your own idea. Others know about it, but it's the right idea. It's the right approach. So like what you're trying to do is a good thing. It's worthwhile, the effort. You know, you should raise that money. But don't think for a moment that what you did was sufficient in just writing those letters. If you believe in this thing, then you got to ask, and you got to ask directly. You got to go, he called it eyeball to eyeball, and you got to ask for money. And so we did it. I did it with a couple other friends. We got out there. We started off with what they call friends and family. I didn't have a lot of friends and family that could write big checks, so we started off then branching out a little bit further. And we got there. Eventually we got there. We raised the funds, and I waited until that point to have a very difficult conversation. And this was a conversation with my commanding officer, Major Alan Boothby, who was a Marine Corps sniper. And I walked into Major Boothby's office and said, "Sir, the shipment Barcott reporting as ordered, sir." He said, "Barcott, stand easy." So I stood easy. And I told him what we had done, that we had started an organization, we had raised some money, and then I put out the difficult ask, which was I wanted to get his permission to take leave from the military as soon as I graduated and like owed them 4 years. I wanted to take leave, unpaid albeit, but unpaid leave for 4 months to go start this organization with Salim and the team on the ground. And he looked at me, sort of like some of you are looking at me right now. And he pointed his trigger finger at me. And he said, "Barcott, you are one odd bird." I was like, "Yes, sir. Odd bird, sir. What do you think of that proposal?" And Major Boothby stepped back and he said, "You know, I'm going to support it. I'm going to support it because because you had the stones to ask." I believe that was a gender-neutral comment, but that's what he said. And he said, "You got the stones to ask." And by the way, it's hard to ask, and it's hard to take initiative. You took a bias for action, and you know, in the longer scheme of things, what he didn't say at that point, but which I found out later as years went by, was that he actually liked the idea as well, because he was a combat veteran. He had served during a time of conflict, and most combat veterans that I would meet, including Major Boothby, believe that the cost of preventing violence in places was always just, you know, leaps and bounds, always so much lower than intervening during it, to the effect that we can, you know, when we can, in the conditions when we can intervene effectively. Anyways, we got that. I got that permission. I went back to Kibera. It all happened very rapidly. We wrote about this in the book, but there were setbacks that happened, stuff that we didn't know. Most of the time, I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. But I'd kind of get through that by listening to people, and not just listening to one person, but having multiple conversations and trying to get to the truth, or my understanding of the truth, by having multiple conversations. And so we got back to Kibera, and eventually Salim joined up. And then as soon as Salim joined up on the team, we built the sports program as the first kind of linchpin, this soccer program. And it was remarkably easy because I wasn't running it.